After that long and grueling series, excited Falcone, as Lorinda referred to me as a few moments ago, is back and ready for some more action. We're going to move down to the losers bracket now, or the elimination bracket, sorry. Going to be a little bit more politically correct there. It's Mexico versus Argentina fighting for their lives here in the Hearthstone Global Games.
Yeah, just tidying up all the rubbish on my desk. Sorry about that. And yeah, now I know who Mexico and Argentina are again. Getting my notes together. Interesting to see how this one goes. As Garrett correctly surmised, I think Argentina, the favourites on what we know. But Mexico were the team who entertained us and played well so good. So much in week one. Entertained everybody with this sort of unique pairing, really, of Impact, who is very lively and seems to be the driving force, and then Panizardo, who's very quiet but gets the job done, got himself into Grandmasters. And it seems to be a pairing that has worked very well together.
I hate to break it to you, Lorinda, mate. With your wonky sentences there at the start of this game, you have only cast one series so far today. There's still a lot of the day to go.
That's fine. I'm just warming up. By the end of the day, I want to be able to speak even fractionally coherently.
It may have felt like more than one series. But we are only 2 in and 5 more to go here in the Hearthstone Global Games as Game 1 is well and truly underway now. But again, we're just doing the usual. There's not much going on. Now Gudan is sitting there doing nothing, waiting for that quest to complete. Gonna go ahead and grab probably a Kun there if he believes that he can get to turn 10. If he doesn't think he can get to turn 10, it is worth considering picking up Druid of the Claw. Removal can be vital against this priest deck.
Yeah, and even if you can't kill things in the priest deck, sometimes taking 4 health from them, they do have a lot more healing they used to have in this sort of combo deck, but just taking 4 health from them can be the difference between life and death, get you 1 extra turn. And as we can see here, Mexico's hand is pretty grim. It's not awful, but it needs some pep in its step really, really soon, although I'm not going to get anything done by the time Druid becomes hard to beat.
Some pep in its step. I like it. I haven't heard that one before.
I have. I don't know where
it's kind of grim. It's half grim. It's half really good, right? Because the moment this Tolvir gets destroyed, suddenly those Psychopomps look insane. But for the time being, it is. Well, they've made a 5/5 out of it. That's reasonable. That is something now Gudan is going to have to defend himself against somehow. And at the moment, there is nothing he can do about this.
Yeah. So he won't. And it gives the Psychopomp something good to come back with, as you say, even if he can deal with it.
Light Warden's an awesome pickup as well. The question now is, does that 5 damage go to the face, or is it dealing with the Crystal Merchant? How big a deal is it for the Druid to draw a card every single turn?
Yeah, it's always a difficult one, because if the Druid's dead, it doesn't draw any more cards. But people do tend to take care of it, because if it lives for even 2 or 3 turns and you don't finish the job, then those cards are the end of the game.
It's a really difficult one, isn't it? I mean, I'm erring on the side of wanting to kill the minion, I think, but it feels so bad having 5 damage and missing the face.
So the things to bear in mind is that you assume that Druid cards cost 5 or more, and you assume they can only play 1 or 2 of those cards by the time you've killed them in the world where you do kill them. So you've got to decide, do you think you kill them in time? And it's just, that's why that took so long, that discussion, because they've got to work out, will these cards actually matter? They've probably already got a removal or 2, and if they get to the point where they've got 4 or 5, it's no different from having 3. See how that... I mean, that's just a decision that is very difficult to have a general rule for. You just have to look at the board, look at your hand, and see how you feel it will go.
Yeah. Loti coming down, obviously, as we established yesterday, not quite as strong pre-quest completion. However, it does something, right? It is a guaranteed clear against one of these horrible priest minions. And actually, taking out the 5/6 is probably good enough.
Yeah, and taking out a potential Amet might be good enough as well. If they've got other ways to kill the other stuff, if they can draw themselves, they've got the Starfall, so they can Starfall and kill an Amet with the Loti. So the timing on this is quite important.
So Impact's going to go ahead and build up the Light Warden now by trading and healing with the Tolvir. Light Warden now dealing 5 a pop. And in theory, going to be trading into the Tolvir, and then Impact can Psychopomp it back and then Divine Spirit it. So eventually Mexico might just end up with a better Tolvir than the one they have now. However, with Starfall playable, things take a dramatic turn for the worse for Mexico. As it looks like this is now Gudan getting Impact off of the board, and I'm not sure how they get back onto the board again.
Yeah, there's every chance they just never do. That was a consequence. It didn't work out well for the Starfall, but the extra damage there was a consequence of leaving up that Crystal Merchant that was banned before. Meant they had something to bump into and heal. So they maximised their damage that way over the 2 turns, even though, again, when it gets Starfalled, it looks stupid, but when it doesn't get Starfalled, it looks genius.
Wow. Healing the opponent's face there so that if Loti trades into the Light Warden, it dies. Very clever.
Yeah, you've got to know a lot of little bits of tricks when you play Priest. That's one of them. Also knowing may the light burn you and just heal your opponent on 30. Most important one of all, just do it every game on turn 2. The light shall burn you. But it is all looking a little grim. Obviously, Argentina still have 1 or 2 turns to navigate before they can relax, because the Priest deck, Bonswami, will just pull you back into it and give you yet another go. You make a load of 1/7s the turn after quite often with Amet, and the Druid can't deal with all that nonsense.
I honestly believe that this Oasis Searcher is enough there. Value trade both of those. Now Loti can value trade into the 1/1 Light Warden. Then Impact, okay, best case scenario would be Bonsomdi. It would die to the current board, and while using up the whole turn.
Then the turn after is Amet into 4 1/7s, and Argentina need to position themselves so they can deal with that, and that's what they're doing.
Right. Right, gonna be drawing at least 4 cards this turn by the looks of things. There's the Amet, okay. Step 1. Even Amet into Psychopomp isn't the worst, actually. But they're still facing down a pretty hefty board here.
Yeah, it's because Argentina have just been alert to the fact that one way they would lose after clearing is to Amet, that they've played it in a way where they keep their removal spells in hand. Well, they've only got the 1, and they put as many minions on the board as possible. And that way is the best way to clear up any potential danger that may be lurking.
The end begins.
Not ideal, because this board is dunzo.
Yep, no injured Tolvir coming back to life at all, unfortunately. But obviously the Light Warden was more likely, given that 2 of them essentially have been killed. And now Gudan, feeling that he has the time to play the Nourish, he does have dominance on this board already, and all he's drawing now is more tools to preemptively deal with anything that the Priest can put out. Honestly, this looks like it's lights out for Mexico.
Yeah, it really does. That 17 health total will be defended next turn with the Kun, and then that will be the end of everything. It's the end of everything anyway, but yeah. The end
Impact
of even the
giving the most
speculative
sarcastic... Yeah, Impact gave the most sarcastic thumbs up I've ever seen there, as he is looking pretty done with this game. And for anyone that is unfamiliar with this Priest deck, one thing I want to remind you all is that it has no way of dealing damage when it doesn't have minions on the board. That is it. It's not like old Mind Blast Priest where it can just kill you from nowhere. If you got no board, you got no damage.
Yeah, that's a very fair point. There's actually lethal on board the other way next turn with Swipe or with Scenarios. More to the point, the card they actually have.
Or Druid of the Claw even, you know, pick your poison.
Impact going through the
God,
motions
I want to see
here.
Druid of the Clawleaf. I want to see Druid of the Clawleaf. Ah.
I'm still very disappointed at Fino yesterday not going for Blink Fox Shadow Step. That'll be my saddest moment for this HGG.
As in Blink Fox with the charge with the Tundra Rhino, yeah, that would have been fantastic. Anyways, Argentina take their first win of the series, leaving them with their Reno Mage, let's not forget, and their shielded Priest. Mexico, on the other hand, they still need to get a win with their Priest, which they also shielded. Both teams shielded their Priest at this series, which is quite interesting. Mexico also have Shaman, and they have Rogue. Something that I think is quite interesting is that Argentina's banned deck was the Shaman, and it's actually aggro Shaman with Doom Hammers and Lava Bursts, etc. It's not token Shaman, and it's the deck that they got swept with in the first series. So it's just really interesting to me that Mexico decided, even though the other team swept it, I think it was Hong Kong, even though Hong Kong swept it, they still didn't want to play against it. They banned it. It's just quite fascinating.
And this is that Reno Mage. Sorry to blank you slightly there, but yeah. Just getting my bearings. I haven't seen one of these since I were a lad. But it still plays pretty much the same as the old. Yeah, exactly. As the old Mage. And you can see Conjurer's Calling with Giants, and yeah, that's it. That's the deck still.
How much is this worth to you?
Alright, well, still, Rogue starts by doing Rogue things there, having already collected unexpected results from the Swashbuckler. Nice underbelly fence to get this game started. Now Gudan having to play defensively already, but does have the option to drop that Doomsayer, and that is something I guess you can consider this turn. It's very difficult to get a Doomsayer to stick against Rogue.
Yeah, if you don't play it now, you don't play it at all, I guess. So every chance it does just get dealt with. But you've got nothing else to do anyway, so throw it out there. Save yourself 7 health. It's underrated as a healer. A lot of people won't play it if it doesn't get killed, if it's going to get killed, but it's healing you for 6 points of health here. So that's fine.
It is, but at the same time, it's also allowing Impact to get all of these value trades. And that is one heck of a board. Mexico have just sort of splurged everything they possibly can onto the board. And now Gudan has very little that he can do. He can play the Pyromaniac if he wants. It's just a 3-mana 3/4 though.
Yeah, this just gets out of control as a deck, the Mage, from turn 6 or 7 onwards. There's so much removal in there. All very generic, because obviously it's a Reno deck. And so, yeah, the Rogue kind of has to get it done early.
I think the players, Conjurer's Call and Underbelly Fence into a Doomsayer.
What to do? What to do?
But just for now, a couple of turns of big pressure coming from Mexico. And the Mage deck can even deal with Token Shaman from time to time.
Time runs out on
It just fiddles around by any means necessary to not die in the first 3 or 4 turns. But Rogue doesn't have those same defences, doesn't have Soul of the Murlocs, just has things. So has to do that damage much quicker.
Well, that's not a term we like, is it? As now Gudan. And Impact continues to splurge onto the board. That is a lot of stats already. And Impact just has no answer yet. He only has 5 mana, so Blizzard unplayable. And even after Blizzard does get played, it doesn't clear the board, it only stalls it.
Right. Yeah, you normally need to go Blizzard into a Flame Strike or something like that. Blink Fox is pretty decent here for Mexico too, in case they can get something fairly fruity from their opponent. Swashbuckler too. Mage spells do a lot of damage, so that's always a nice thing to be against as well.
what to do? What to do?
Very difficult for Argentina here.
Time runs out on me. What to do? What to do?
Best
Yeah, so they're going to
play
just throw
ends
this
up
out there.
being Mountain Giant. Yeah.
The problem here is, first of all, they're scared of a potential sap. But the bigger issue is they're scared of it just being ignored. Then they get the Conjurers calling off, but it might not matter. That was exciting for a minute, but it's not. Pocket Galaxy.
Lorinda, your exciting shouts towards the end of the last series and during this one are giving me life.
Good, because that last series made me I really wanted to get really into the fact that it was a foregone conclusion from turn 1. But this one is not. This one is actually genuine excitement.
I thought you were going to say the last series made me want to get life.
I am full of life and vitality, I'll have you know, young man. And Impact putting this into a position where even if they get the 2-7-8 taunts, it's still going to be a good spot for Mexico.
True. However, at least now Argentina can go ahead and play Blizzard after trading. Now with presence on the board, everything doesn't quite seem as scary. Is there any reason not to play the Blizzard, I wonder? Conjurer's calling. Okay, sure. What you said. The 2-7-8 taunt is the plan.
The scary thing is
to
play the Blizzard. It was quite a close call, actually. It might be the wrong one as well. Because you get naught taunts sometimes, then you just die horribly, which they might do anyway, looking at this, with Shadow Step Leroy. But the problem with the Blizzard, we can see that there's not much reload for the Rogue, but what Argentina are scared of is the Rogue just puts a load of stuff back on the board.
I wonder.
Yeah, they don't expect this to be a handful of such gobbledygook as I am talking.
So, including the Sinister Strike, I count 11 damage going face right now.
I'm just trying to work out the mana.
Including the
They're
Sinister
going
Strike,
for Bloodlust, or not Bloodlust, obviously. Yeah, Bloodlust would be good, actually.
It'll be a rogue card, so... Yeah.
Ray of Frost is interesting.
The frustrating thing here is that they know the second Conjurer's Calling is coming, so dealing with one of these 7-8s doesn't really achieve that much unless they can push damage to the face at the same time. Freezing the second one's helpful. It means that it can't make a value trade before the Conjurer's Calling comes down.
Yeah, and that is looking pretty good for them. It's a lot of damage. Impact's very good at fiddling aggro decks into as much damage as possible. He's not just an aggro player, but I think he's good at all of Hearthstone stuff, but I think it is his forte.
I wonder.
So 1 time in 4, this just whiffs. 1 time in 4, it probably secures, and that is the whiff. See it now, Guidance face, and now there's just no defense. Leroy is going to come in, bring the chicken.
Nice little fist pump from Impact there, and then Mexico tie up the series. The score is now 1-1 with a Rogue win and a Druid win. That leaves Mexico with their Shaman, which I believe is it's Quest Shaman, and with their Priest. And Argentina also have the Priest, but they also have the Reno Mage. So very weird lineup remaining from these guys. Don't forget Argentina also have the Aggro Shaman, which is banned. So in general, Argentina's lineup is very interesting this week. But either way, with a score of 1-1, this game could still go either way. It is the losers, or the elimination match between Mexico and Argentina. Loser of the series will be going home now. Winner will be fighting for their life in the Hearthstone Global game in the decider match. We'll be seeing the rest of this match after this short break. It's the elimination match here in Group B between Mexico and Argentina. One of these teams will be eliminated from the tournament at the conclusion of this series, but the score is 1-1, so we could still see this one go either way. Lorinda, what do you think about these teams? Do you have a favorite?
I'm a fan of every player on these teams, which I have to say way too often. I should start making some big enemies or some bigger enemies than I already have. But out of the matchups, it's a tough one. I feel like the mage is kind of the weak link in some ways, but also on the other side of that, I think that people play against it the least, and we've seen it perform very, very well the few times it's turned up in Hearthstone Global Games. New Zealand again showing what a good deck this can be last week. So I don't want to call it because I'm a fence sitter, but if I had to, I think I'd lean Mexico very slightly.
Really? Okay, well in that case, I'm going to lean Argentina. I quite like the Reno Mage. One thing that the Reno Mage does have in abundance, seems to anyway, is removal. And removal is what is necessary to take down this priest.
Yeah, and I'll be interested to see what they do with this Ray of Frost, whether they consider it good enough or not. And Nogin and PNC probably having a bit of a chat about that, because it doesn't do anything. However, Priest only has one big minion a lot of the time to kill you with, and one thing it does do is stop that attacking for 2 turns. So it's probably just not good enough. Yeah, it's probably one of those cards that if you pick up you don't mind, but you're aiming for better, like Polymorph, which actually deals with the issue.
Yep. Polymorph, Sylvanas, and Doomsayer are all pretty relevant. Sylvanas obviously is a little bit riskier. You have to play that on a turn where you're not facing down imminent lethal. But Polymorph, yeah, just instantly remove one of these huge minions. What's that now, Godan? Oh, hello. Hello. Remember, it reminds me of the first year of the Hearthstone Global Games where players did used to regularly hold up animals and things to the camera. Do you remember that?
Yeah, Emma the Weasel.
There was one... Yeah, the Weasel, that's right.
Emma the Weasel. God rest her soul.
Wow, well, Topsy-Turvy just going to make very short work of that Doomsayer.
Yeah, and this is lovely for Mexico. They're going to get so much out of this a lot of the time, and going to present a massive problem to Argentina. Yeah, they have coin Polymorph, but A, if they do that, nothing else happens, and B, what on earth do you target? You might need it for later. You have no coin if you coin now.
It's kind of a tricky turn for Nalgudan. Coining out the Sandbinder is an option. It contests the board sort of okay. It may draw Zephyrus. I believe it's a 50-50 between Zephyrus and Siamat. But using up the coin does have consequences. It means the Flame Strike is a turn later, or Sylvanas is a turn later.
And
that is Zephyrus, though. Zephyrus is big.
Yep, Mass Dispel being one of the bigger deals, but obviously plenty of other things that Zephyrus can do.
Yep, on 7 mana you can Zephyrus into Brawl. Oh, the animal's being taken
The animal
away.
rescue has turned up.
Come on, you have to go and hop into the Shaman deck. It's nothing like a hare, but I figured I'd try.
It almost worked. Marks for trying. So Argentina have got ways of dealing with what's going on to some degree now, but none of them are like comfortable. Oh, this works so well into Mass Dispel. Shadow Flame works even better, actually, yeah.
Yeah, we are going for Shadow Flame. Okay, well there you go. Board is cleared. Cleric gone. Pyromancer gone. Light Warden gone. That's pretty big. However, Psychocom, snap play from Mexico, and getting the Tolvir is really nice as well. This is once again a board that is hard to deal with. Now Gudan could polymorph the Tolvir, I guess.
Be a bit drawn too.
Yeah, that's the issue. We could just be looking
Hey.
at lethal.
What if we go for Spellbreaker here instead of Polymorph, so you've got 2 things to challenge the board with? They're not going to mess around, they're just getting rid of it. Don't blame them, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because he just died.
Well, now, realistically, the maximum output is 12, right? With a double Divine Spirit and a
Yeah.
top seer and a fire. However, it's back again!
Guess what? It's back.
Oh, what a disaster. And with Zephyrus used up already, now Gudon really needs Blizzard into Flamestrike.
Yeah, the only saving grace for them now is that one Northshire Cleric has gone, so card draw could be a bit slow, and this deck does just draw dead a lot when it hasn't got its card draw engines available. But
Is that a misstep?
in what way? What would you?
What does it play around? Oh, it plays around Reno, right? The Divine Spirit, I mean. Because I'm using Cast Division, obviously. I'm staring at the Spellbreaker in now Gudon's hand, and I'm thinking, was that Divine Spirit just completely wasted? But I guess it was playing around Reno the Relicologist.
What to do?
Yeah.
What to do?
Yeah, and it's just 2 mana spent. You need to spend your mana a lot with Priest, because often your turns come down to... If they have a card draw turn, that often means you have to do a lot of things with a lot of mana. And they've still got another Divine Spirit.
Your magic shall not save you.
Not the card they were hoping for. So this time they might not do it. Of course, Reno won't be able to do all the things anyway.
Yeah, so they don't. But Flamestrike is looking pretty strong now for now Gudon. It leaves 2 minions alive, yes, but both with only 2 health. And Empanizado only has 2 cards in his hand. It really does feel like Mexico's resources are starting to dry up.
I wonder.
It looked like Impact's resources were starting to dry up. He had his head on one side, trying to analyse the board from sideways on. Not a lot of ways of dealing with stuff right now, though. Power of Creation next turn is often a really good blocker, but it also often doesn't actually stop anything. And this turn they don't actually have a play
Runs out on me.
that does anything. It's kind of interesting. Like you say, Mexico are also flailing about waiting for something to happen. That's something being top tier in a fire. But not Pyromancer. And this time, again, the Reno theory, they're defending against it again because the Giant will just kill the 2/6.
It's kind of frustrating to see them playing around a card the whole game that's just not there in the hand, but it's got to be done.
Oof. How do you feel?
I wonder.
You got to just flame. No.
Not an easy turn.
Yeah,
is it?
I mean, Flame Strike does mean in a fire a top seed's still lethal. So I guess is the best play genuinely to play Tortelian Pilgrim into Blizzard or Frost Nova? Blizzard or Frost Nova both save you for the turn.
It depends how
So
you
there's
feel.
two good outcomes from that.
Yeah.
And there's
But
not
doing the
many
bits,
bad
it doesn't
outcomes.
matter.
Conjurer's Calling would be bad outcome. Arcane Intellect would be bad. Frostbolt, Ray of Frost. And Book of Spectres. No, they're going to go with the Secret instead. Vaporize isn't bad.
It's okay.
But we're still in a world where Inner Fire is just lethal.
I understood that word that Impact said right then. I won't explain what it was. But I don't think he was as impressed as he could have been with the top deck. This is likely the last chance they're going to get, depending how the power creation goes. Or the Pilgrim, again, depending how they feel. If they want to go to freeze mode first. Oh, it's Reno that they've played around the whole game, but now he turns up. He's actually A, could just get it done, and B, doesn't matter anyway because Flame Strike would clear.
Yep. This is the downside to playing Priest. It's that when you run out of stuff, you really do run out of stuff. I guess the problem for Mexico this game is that their Northshire Cleric died very, very early on and didn't do all that much before it was killed off. It was not resurrected with Psychocom. It did not do a good enough job this game, and so they ran out of resources, and it looks like Argentina are going to be taking their second win this series.
Yep, nothing there for Mexico off the top, and it's going to run away very fast now, and Impact wants none of that. It goes to 2-1 to Argentina. Remember, they do have to win this just to get a shot at Chinese Taipei, and then the winners of that will go to the top 8. So a long road back, even for Argentina, and an even longer road back to Mexico.
A long road indeed. Argentina now only need to win with their combo Priest. Mexico also need to win with their combo Priest, which they've already lost with twice this series. So much work for Mexico to do that. They're going to be feeling bad about the deck at the moment.
The light shall bring victory.
So they're going to go ahead and cue the Quest Shaman for, I believe, the first time this series now. See how this one goes.
Yeah, let's see if they can entertain us. They've had some great Quest Shaman wins last time around. It was one of the things that made their matchup so great. And Quest Shaman against the Priest is fine. I'm a big Quest Shaman fan, I must admit, of the deck. Just because it's one of the more fun decks at the moment. When you take away the evolve nonsense. But Mexico have cut the mutates from this deck. So no messing around with Mogus, just if you draw them, there are extra things to evolve. But slowly but surely, I think the mutates are coming out of this deck. If you mess around any longer, I think they would all be gone fairly soon. They're actually kind of useless.
Right.
I mean, they're not useless. You play a Mogu really early on and you turn it into a huge thing. But that's not what this deck really does.
Hello, Desert Hair.
Yeah.
It's not what this deck is sort of focused around, but Desert Hair Coin Evolve is certainly not something that you're complaining about if you're pulling it off.
No, exactly. The problem with the Mogu mutate thing is it doesn't advance your quest, so it better win. And what you find against the Token Shaman is you both go Mogu mutate, and the Quest Shaman loses because it hasn't completed its quest, so it's getting none of its value that it's designed to get. However, that aside, it's not going to matter too much here. This is one where the Mogu actually would be really good at mutate because you can get Ragnarosses and stuff to take care of these annoying priest things. Priest will play the whole game with 3 minions on board.
I must consider.
Unless they get to the position where they go to 5 or 6, the MC techs are very, very dangerous against Priest.
Not too quickly.
Lovely start here for Argentina. It always feels like this start should just go wrong because you're drawing one card and like your hand's kind of nothing, and then next turn you just win the game. Going to start hitting for 6 with this inner fire already. And Shaman decks cannot deal with a 6/6 and for a very long time.
That is true. That is true. There's not too much. I mean, there are things lackeys can do to help out with that, but Cobalt Lackey alone is not enough to deal with the 6/6.
we might see a really bizarre turn here, by the way. We might see the cleric hit the Naught 2, then heal it, and then topsy it to kill it.
Oh. Nah. we're living in a world where beaming sidekick in a fire to actually make an 8/8 is an option. But hold on a second. I speak too soon. Lorinda with the plays.
Hey, I got you, friend.
Yeah. He's actually not going to topsy it though. He's going to bump in. He's going to make that work. But we got close. It's still bizarre to attack something and hit it and kill it. I'll take that part, but yeah. They're just playing that a little bit slower. Does give the opponents a chance to do this, and they have found a rush minion. Both of them.
Master Shaw gives everything rush. That is a nightmare for Nalgudan. Like,
the real
potentially
nightmare.
a game-losing nightmare.
If they'd made a 6/6 last turn and used the topsy play, then those 2 minions would be dead now, and all you'd have to do is deal with the Houndmaster Shaw. However, you wouldn't have a topsy or an inner fire, so you'd be in a bit of a mess. But
or just made it an 8/8 and not even bothered about the evil totem.
Yeah, one of the problems with leaving up the evil totem, which you definitely can leave up, is they can get spells that can actually kill your 6/6 or 8/8, depending which way you've gone. Because the Shaman just cannot deal with an 8/8 otherwise. So getting rid of lackeys is kind of in high priority. But yeah, ignoring it and just killing them in 3 turns and saying those lackeys aren't going to be enough is definitely something worthy of consideration.
In the light's name.
Both decks kind of rolling how they like to roll at the moment. That could have been worse.
This Houndmaster Shaw is just running away with the game, though, Lorinda.
Yeah, this lackey's
with
just gonna win
Kobold
the game.
Lackey, sure, Mind Control Tech. I was going to suggest Bog Slosher, but this way, the Mind Control Tech and the Kobold Lackey can just go straight into the Cleric, and Houndmaster Shaw just sits there. And again, the Priest has no way of dealing with this. Like how the Priest has no way of dealing damage to the face with no minions on the board, it has no way of dealing with this Houndmaster Shaw. Great, there's Divine Spirit and Inner Fire now. Fantastic. It can go on the Acolyte and make it a 6/6. So what? Who cares?
It's a good play by Mexico though, because they've got to worry about Amet. They've got to worry a little tiny bit about Psychopomp, but not as much. But Amet in particular, and they're just playing the numbers, saying no, you're not going to have it, and if you have, well done. Very easy with caster vision to make that play. Looked quite straightforward, but they actually have to have player vision, which is a horrible, terrifying thing that's really hard to do.
Like, as long as Empanizado continues to clear up Nalgudan's board, and continues to keep that Houndmaster Shaw alive, it's not going anywhere. Bronzumdi has been picked up, so Nalgudan does, in theory, have the potential for a power turn in a couple turns. But it depends on what Mexico draws now, because if they get anything decent whatsoever, they're going to be able to shut down Nalgudan before his turn even starts.
I hadn't even noticed this main deck Plague, actually. Yeah, one Plague of Murloc's main deck's absolutely gigantic. Of course, Amet now is just a Murloc. Amet the Murloc. On the way to the market.
You met the Murloc? Yeah.
Damn it! You're cutting off my jokes. You know me too well.
I cut off your joke with your own joke.
Even worse. So yeah, now a lot of danger has gone. So, Spyro's been discovered there. It's going to be the Voltaic Burst. Quest completed. Hero power plus Wasp plus the Lackey trading into 7/7. Clears that up so easily. And even if there was Amet followed by all of these 1-drops, I feel like even without the Plague of Murlocs, Empanizado would have an answer. The fact that he can just go ahead, play Barista again, return the Wasp to the hand, play it again, deal 6 damage again, rush it in. Like, it is just ridiculous.
Empanizado and Team
Pyromancer
Mexico
needed.
have completely locked down this game. Pyromancer
Well,
is fantastic.
They
There you
found
go.
the Pyromancer they needed, and now they've got a chance to at least get this game going. But with the quest completed, it's going to be very difficult for them to finish it. But they certainly wouldn't have had a chance without this Pyromancer to even try and finish it. And they are picking up some real Hearthstone cards here. Obviously, the question of how much healing you want to do this turn compared to just blowing things up. Do you want how are you going to navigate the turn? With Cleric and such like, do you want to kill everything or do you want to leave the Wasp up? I mean, you want to kill everything, obviously, but that involves playing an inner fire you might not want to part with.
Not too quickly.
So you have to do this, otherwise you just die. This is the easy part. A bit slow. If you pick up a circle, you might not have had a chance to play it. But they're giving up their second cleric. You there, folk?
I'm here. I'm good. Don't worry. No disconnections just yet.
Alright, they're just gonna proceed getting cards and stuff. Interesting the cleric give up here. Just really have to find another route to victory, but I mean just staying in the game was hard enough, I think.
It's just this problem that because of the power of that Handmaster Short, which yes, it's gone now, but it has managed to oppress now Gudan so much that Empanizado has built up a board, but there's a 6/7 there now. How on earth does Priest deal with a 6/7?
I mean, how on
like
earth
it
does
just
it deal with
doesn't.
getting shot out by 2 wasps next turn? Yeah, it's just all over the place.
I mean, it's probably just lethal next turn, isn't it?
Yeah, almost always. I think that's what.
If Barista survives, it's lethal. But Barista won't survive because now Gudan has actually found the clear here. Look at that. Look at this play. That is beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, it is. They're both going to die to watch this turn. Oh, they're going to die to Sandstorm.
Or that.
Doos.
I mean, it was a valiant comeback onto the board. I don't want to take that away from now Gudan. That was a great turn.
Yeah, it was a good effort, but it's going to be 2 apiece. Most likely, at least. Yep, there it goes. Thank you. Play for in this elimination match now, and I believe it's going to be Combo Priest versus Combo Priest.
It is indeed, Lorinda. Wow, what a way to end this series. It's been a while since I've seen this matchup in action in a competitive setting, actually. But I believe it's just the case of a lot of the time the first player to get a big minion just wins.
It is. Well, it's not even the big minion. It's just if you go Cleric in to make a 2/6, you win. A huge percentage of the time.
Well, let's see what we're making here. We got Cleric into Blade Master with Pyromancer in hand as well. That's not bad. And Empanizado definitely needs to do some mulliganing to gonna throw away everything. Yep.
Yeah, looking pretty good for Argentina, but on the basis they have North Cleric and Mexico haven't got any cards at all. How much of that stuff do you want? Just the Cleric, or do you want to go with the Blade Master as well? I like the Blade Master, I think. It's a bit slow, but...
It's really tricky, isn't it? Because then you have to consider the Pyromancer. Like, do you want the Pyromancer with the Cleric? Pyromancer's great at removing stuff like Light Wardens. And obviously great for the heals.
I think you have to, personally, at least I don't keep the Pyromancer, because if you're defending, you'll just probably don't defend enough. It's interesting.
Oh wow.
They are going to keep it.
So
Nice.
he goes the other way. He keeps the Pyro but throws the Blade Master. Does get rewarded there with the injured Tolvir as well. So now does have 1 into 2 into at least some healing. Psycho Pump not bad either. And
Yeah, not so
Panizzato
good after they
definitely
shut the
has
Blade
some catching
Master.
up to do.
Yeah, definitely
True.
Mexico are in. I mean, they haven't got Cleric. Going first is great. If you get the Cleric and go first, you tend to be great, but they haven't. They do have that double power shield is what they'll be pinning their hopes on.
Is someone injured?
Now just some precision play from Argentina. They should be in a fantastic spot.
Panizzato does have Tolvir into double powered shield into Inner Fire though.
Just dies to Inner Fire. Yeah, and
Is that the play then? Do you think just Inner Fire trade? Yeah.
what I would
okay.
do. Doesn't mean it's necessarily the play, but that's what I would do. It's this whole 4-turn battle for the board. Everything you do on the first 4 turns to get the board is huge. Doubly so if you're protecting a Cleric in the meantime.
Quickly.
Interesting to know what they do after that, though. I think you want to spend your coin on something. Are you scared of an opposing Pyromancer so you heal your Cleric? I think you probably are. Or do you want to just develop your own Tolvir and say, I have things for next turn?
It's going to be the I have things, which is very powerful in its own right. I was looking at the card draw, but this definitely seems like the stronger play. But look at Panizzato and Impact's hand.
Do they?
This is a hand that is just defeating itself. He has to silence the Cleric.
Actually, yeah, but wouldn't you want to shield it first?
Good
I think
point.
I'd be very tempted to throw one of those shields onto the Cleric and then silence it, personally.
The only counter argument I can think of is that maybe they feel they need both shields to win on their own minion.
I mean, they haven't got their own minion.
Very true.
They don't have a minion.
Good point,
That's
well
why
made.
I think I'd have thrown one away. I get your point,
Oh
but...
no! Oh no, they had a Tolvir, right? This is fine.
Yeah,
Okay,
see,
it's fine.
this now makes saving the shield work, but... I don't know. I'll speak to Impact at some point about that and find out what was going on there. So there's an absolute multitude of good options here for Argentina. They are out of cards. It can definitely turn against them here, with Mexico having the card draw. But for the time being, I think Argentina are just going to be able to control the board. Psycho Pump to get back your Cleric seems pretty tasty. And you want to do that before you do anything else, so nothing messes up and you get back something awful.
Someone injured?
There
Yep.
you go.
Ideal for Nalgadan. As long as this Cleric isn't dealt with or silenced or whatever, then Nalgadan will get the card draw that Argentina need, and Argentina will be taking back this game. And Panizzato still failing to find a minion. At some point, you have to play those power word shields.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that playing one of them before the silence was just correct. The fact you're silencing it anyway, it just seems like you're not having... It's 1 mana, draw a card when you've got no good stuff. It's just alright. And now you're playing it on a 1/3 Cleric that you can't silence. I know that's a bit results orientated, it could have gone differently, but yeah.
Alright, well, the Pyromancer deals with everything except that Cleric.
Yeah, and it's definitely a reason to have kept spells. They're actually ahead on board and in cards, and on everything apart from card draw potential.
No!
But never mind,
Extra
Argentina have swung it back their way.
That is like the best card that Argentina could have drawn. Now
Super good
Gudan
pickup.
and PNC, who hasn't had any screen time but is equally playing. And
Yeah, it's been a shame.
this
Both
feels
weeks we
like
haven't seen PNC.
he's shy.
He's
I'm sure that's not
though.
true. No.
Window's lovely.
But this seems to be the final comeback for Now Gudan, because with the second extra arms and the Divine Spirit and the Topsy-Turvy all there, and Empanizado still drawing 1 minion at a time, it's difficult to see how Mexico are going to get anything to stick. This can be dealt with easily by... Oh, no. Yeah, well, it can be dealt with if they decide to go with Topsy-Turvy, which might be worth it.
Yeah, they've also got the Circle of Healing to consider here.
Yes, well, they can heal and then draw and then heal again and draw again, I think.
Yeah.
I must consider.
Seems good. Always got to be careful because then they can't play extra arms and Divine Spirit, so something they need to just check first, hence the little pause.
Blade Master. So Blade Master Circle has 2 more draws. But yes, now Gudan is going to play the Topsy-Turvy. He is going to claim the 1 minion Empanizado has available. And yeah, this is
Yeah,
just
the piece starts rolling.
Okay.
It's like a combo deck at this point where you draw cards to draw more cards. I don't mean the combo of the kill, I just mean the drawing mechanic engine is just a combo in its own right. It rolls.
I see a dark future.
Ahmet certainly not looking so threatening when now Gudan can deal with it on board. And with that powered shield draw, he can do it without even sacrificing his cleric.
Yeah, it's difficult to know what the perfect play here, but everyone can find a play they like that's probably good enough. So Argentina will spend some time trying to work out what's going on in Mexico's hands. They know one of the cards is more arms. And because they don't expect anything scary next turn, they've got time to go for this. Acolyte of Pain is now just a case of Mexico going through the motions. They can't even find a way to draw a card from it. And they're going to be either dead or very close to it by the time all the card draw happens next turn.
Yeah, they seem pretty dead to me, Lorinda. I'm going to just come out and say.
And Impact's gone beyond
Better be
caring.
sat-
He healed his own face there that buffed the Light Warden. Yeah,
And there's
yeah,
the concede. He gives it up. It's going to be go. They are a very interesting team, very enjoyable to watch. I mean, Derek and myself were making some jokes at their expense, I believe, yesterday, and it's good fun, and I'm sure they take it in good heart. But either way, fantastic 2 players, and I'm sure we'll be continuing to see great things from them in future tournaments.
Oh, definitely. We'll see a lot of Empanizado next year in Grandmasters, and I'm sure we'll see Impact in Masters Tours events. He came reasonably close himself, like 1 or 2 match wins away from reaching GM. He is somebody who's been on the circuit a long time, and he will stay on the circuit, I'm pretty sure, and continue to come at least close and possibly even get there himself next year. He's got to be one of the top contenders going into 2020 to get promotion.
But now things are going to get even more exciting as we have the deciders match for this group coming up. One of these teams will be eliminated, the other will be making it through to the top 8 here at the Hearthstone Global Games. It's going to be Chinese Taipei versus Argentina coming up after this.